Okay, so I am now on my first day of my fast. I have gone one day without food. You can probably see my cheeks are just a little bit red. I'm not wearing any makeup so that you guys can see this. I have a tiny bit of eyeliner, but that's it. So my cheeks are a little bit red because my blood sugar is dropping, which obviously is totally to be expected because I've stopped eating. Now, I'm not super hungry right now, which you would expect because I haven't had food all day. I've gone almost 24 hours without food. And the reason is, again, like I said before, I switched over my body to ketosis before I started my fast. So I went off of carbohydrates. I excluded those from my diet in the week up to the fast so that my body made that transition to burning fat for fuel. So um, that sort of like craving for food, I got that out of the way before I actually stopped eating. So I would certainly recommend that to anybody who's wanting to do a fast. It made a huge difference to me. So that being said, when you start fasting, you will experience some hunger. You'd be lying to say that you're not ever hungry at all. But the hunger that I've experienced has been very minor, and it's very short lived. So, one of the misconceptions about hunger is that people think when you're hungry, if you stop eating, you'll just get hungrier and hungrier and hungrier and hungrier until you can't stand it and you go crazy. And actually, that's not true, especially once your body switches over to burning fat for fuel. So, what happens is you're hungry at the normal time, and then that hunger will subside. So if anybody's ever missed lunch or whatever and they kept working because they got busy, you didn't just get hungrier and hungrier. Eventually, that feeling of hungry goes away. Now, it's the same thing when you're fasting, but because I didn't eat anything when I woke up in the morning, I didn't eat anything for lunch, I'm not eating anything now for dinner, my body's getting used to, like, it just never really woke up to food today. So, overnight, goes through the normal cycle of fasting that everybody goes through at night. And so my body's just not in that zone. So, although I have experienced some minor hunger pains for less than 30 seconds, a couple of times today at lunch time, or, sort of late morning, and also mid afternoon today, I experienced that. But it wasn't anything massive. It was just a couple of minutes, or 30 seconds, actually, I should say. And one of the things that I've discovered from doing fasting that you can do is that if you have a warm drink, so either like warm tea or even like warm water, you boil the kettle and you drink the warm fluid, something about like the warm liquid filling your stomach makes the hunger pains, which are your stomach sort of spasming, I guess, it makes that stop. So I mean, obviously it's not food, but it makes you stop feeling hungry. So especially once you're in ketosis anyway, because I started that before I started fasting. And now I take the warm drinks when I have those moments of feeling hungry. So that's my strategy. So I've got my warm glass of tea here. So I'm just sort of sipping away at that. It's just an herbal tea, so a berry tea. The other thing which you want to start doing when you're fasting is you want to drink a lot of water. So, I have some of these this is a 2-liter bottle of water, and it's obviously, you don't have to have a different bottle every day. But if you have a bottle that you're like, how much is in it, it lets you keep track of how much you're drinking, because you need to drink a lot of fluids when you start fasting, because it's kind of a detox, right? So your body is getting rid of a lot of toxins in your system, and lots of water is flushing out. So you have to go to the bathroom a lot of times when you start going to fast. So that's happening to me, and that's a good thing. Okay. Now, the other thing that happens when you fast, and one of the reasons why people think you'll have no energy, or like I can't do it because I have a really physical job, is because your body needs these things called electrolytes, which is basically like different types of salt. I don't really know all of the science behind it, but what I have is these are fasting electrolytes. And so they come with they don't have any flavor, they don't have any calories. It's literally just like the salts themselves. It's like I'll show you the packaging at some point in one of the other videos, but it comes with This is just, I've just decanted it into a smaller bottle to take with me. But this is like a 1 ml scoop. And so you put that in water to dissolve. And when I first started fasting, I would put that in water and try and just chug it down. But it's so disgusting to drink that way. I couldn't cope. So it got more and more difficult to drink this salty water. So what I actually did in the end was I took a chicken stock cube, right? So you can buy these. They usually come in foil, right? And I broke them into four. And so I would normally have 3 times a day, I would have electrolytes, 3 scoops, just to make sure that my energy levels stay up. And so I would have, a quarter of one of these stock cubes mixed with a scoop of the salts in boiling water. And it's like having chicken soup. It's great. There's, I think, maybe 1 calorie in that. So it's basically calorie free. And it means that you're having like something savory, which is nice. And so it's one of the things you can do at meal times to feel like you're kind of having almost like a little treat. So I recommend that. Electrolytes are super important when you're fasting. I can't underestimate that. It's really important. If you don't take electrolytes when you're fasting, by like day 3, day 4, you will be exhausted and find it difficult to move. Like you'll have zero energy. Your body won't be able to make energy without having some electrolytes. And because you're going to the bathroom so much, it becomes even more important to make sure that you keep your salt levels up, or else you'll just get dehydrated. So one of the dangers of fasting is people don't drink enough water, they get dehydrated, or they don't take electrolytes, and then they get muscle cramps and other systems in their body stop working. So you need to take your electrolytes, and I recommend getting ones that are flavor-free, so that there's no flavoring. You don't want any sweetener in. Like I know some of them you can get that have like Runner's electrolytes that are like chewy candies. Don't get that, because anything with an artificial sweetener in it is going to give you diarrhea, especially if you're not eating anything else. So I would really recommend staying away from those things. But you want to get like just basically the salts. So some people use like Himalayan salt. You can use that because it has the trace minerals in it. But otherwise, it's salt mixed with, I think it's like magnesium, calcium. I can't remember the things that are in it, but there's like the trace minerals. So it's salt with trace minerals, basically. Yeah, so I just wanted to just check in. I have been a tiny bit hungry. My energy levels are normal today. I've taken my electrolytes twice already. I'll take it again in the evening and then go to bed. And tomorrow will be day 2. Now, typically, day 2 is harder than day 1. So day 1 is often, you've still got all the calories from yesterday. You're not really very hungry. So usually day 2 is hungrier than day 1. So day 2 is kind of the most difficult day. But one of the cool things about fasting is that, coming back to this thing about hunger, is that your hunger will actually decrease over time. So by day 2 or 3, that's as hungry as you're going to feel the whole time. And then after that, you'll feel less and less and less hungry. So rarely will you feel hungry. Rarely will you get a sensation of being hungry. So just wanted to share that, and see you all tomorrow.